So, by the way, I don't have a lot of motivation, but I was reminded that I need to continue with the Crucible of the Ancients. If you remember, I mean, the one that should contain all these kind of things that I know they look like eggs, and many thought that they are actually symbolize eggs, but I sort of like the eggs more of like, I mean, you know, the things that I put inside the Crucible that are made of like aluminum foil, like wrapped in aluminum foil. Some are still there. I also added the oil to the crucible and little bit of cola zero. So there's actually, I mean, the issue of, I mean, whether it's, useful to add carbonated drinks, water or any other drink to both to the crucible and to the various containers. Maybe as means to supply oxygen. Maybe the neos can separate the oxygen from the CO2. Because oxygen is in need in these kind of like even in the open crucible, but also in the metal container, but certainly in the metal containers that are sealed. So I will try it, and also I have asked my mother to bring me, from her apartment, baking soda tomorrow and baking powder. Both should contain oxygen. I don't know if it can be separated from these kind of like I guess the neos can separate the oxygen, but I don't know if easily or not. These are all good questions. But maybe what we will do is like create a sealed container from the water that are in the metal container. With the various with the new additions of the carbonated cola zero or something like that, and the baking powder. Although there's the issue of the water from the salt water container, this one here. I've diluted it with a lot of water and pee. It was extremely smelly. It's kept in sealed. In sealed jar, because otherwise the smell will be terrible, and there are also disgusting life forms in it. Maybe I should take several examinations. Maybe I'll do it even today, because it's. But what I would want to do is to separate it to more containers, and also to add oxygen in molecules of CO2 and baking powder and baking soda, because I think that it might be very beneficial for the neos that are inside of it to actually use oxygen in order to multiply and to enrich the ecosystem. I should remind you that this was, I don't have a lot of experience, because only once I've taken half a liter from the Mediterranean and created this container from it, and part of it was used in all sorts of experiments. So that's why it was not possible to actually dilute it considerably with pee and water. But I should remind you that even though it was kept sealed, it was very different. It has its own characteristics. If you remember, first of all, it stinks like hell. I don't know why. And second, we've seen very big neos and also amazing life forms. And also, my favorite shot, stills. One of my favorites is actually from this container. The one you see is making a Nero with the yellow, light comes from it, pretty big one, fat one, with kind of a dragon that it's fighting a dragon, some kind of a very, like a giant, microscopic, but it looks big, in 64 magnification, it looks very big, I placed it as a thumbnail for the saltwater microscopic review. So it's you have a big Nero on top of this creature that is curved all around him, like a kraken that's trying to fight like a starship. It's very 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 nice. So I would want to create more, to enrich this kind of container, but I need more containers. So I'll try to maybe ask my mother to bring me some if she have something that she doesn't need. Although there are pretty big, disgusting, non-microscopic life. I should say that this yellow jacket, metal yellow jacket, is kind of is starring in the last week in this channel. It's amazing, and it certainly is the most amazing life form that I've created. in laboratory setting, I would say. But it's not the first non-microscopic life form. But I mean, it's amazing because it's flyer, and I mean, we've seen several of these, and it's so like I mean, it's got so much unique properties. But we've seen quite a bit of like non-microscopic life forms in the past, even like I mean, and several were documented in this channel. But they were, I mean, mostly either small worms and not very interesting. I mean, interesting because of their morphology and their properties, but not like by their look. And also quite a bit of like slimes, like I mean, also like I mean, like disgusting shrimps, like creatures, like I mean, that are aquatic animals that are very disgusting, and also I mean, and non-microscopic, up to like 5 or 8 centimeters, pretty big. And some of them actually, I mean, exist inside this like in the saltwater container. So it's actually interesting, but I mean, the smell is unbearable, really disgusting. But it's actually interesting, like to add more material and like to make a bigger, like to create, like I mean, a more vivid life, like I mean, ecosystem from based on this material. There's also the issue so unfortunately my most like important and most powerful transformer that doesn't work anymore, this one. So I cannot like conduct like very strong electrolysis, only like pretty weak ones, and it's a problem. I mean, because I wanted to conduct more electrolysis experiments, and in the past it was a major issue in this blog, in this channel. And maybe I can get like I'll ask my mother, maybe, because I had like more transformer in her like home, but I mean where I lived before this arrest, so maybe I'll ask her. So the idea that I thought, I mean, is like like a new approach, something that I haven't done. I have only did it like once to see if it's viable. It's viable. Like the new approach is like I mean, like low voltage and low ampere electrolysis over a relatively long time, and using I mean one of the metal containers, and not in the regular way of like I mean the two rods are placed, you know, like in electrolysis, you know, that it's open from above or mostly open, or it is open enough to place two rods, at least two rods. I mean, you can place more if you want, like parallel circles, like the positive and the neutral, like the neutral rods. So instead, I mean, there is like another option that I've tried in the past, and it works. I mean, it's viable, and which is to use a metal container, but to make sure that I mean the lid is sealed, because I wanted to keep it sealed, but the lid doesn't actually touches the container, like I mean, to create like I mean like a barrier, I mean, of insulation using silicone or clay or wet clay, so they will actually do not touch each other, and to place magnets both like on top and on bottom, like on the top of the container, on the lid and on the container bottom, and to fill it with enough water, so I mean, so the magnets will actually on the top will actually I mean touch the water, and then like to connect like I mean to the transformer, like I mean the two I mean wires of the transformer, one like to the container and one to the lid. That way it will not be a shortcut. I mean it's not going to be electrolysis, I mean, per se, because there will not be I don't think that it's considered electrolysis. It's not electrolysis. It's something different, but I've tried it in the past. I mean, so the idea is like to create a circle, like I mean, but I mean the circle will have, I mean, that I mean the DC circle will have to I mean include the water, the mixture. That's exactly what we want, in order for the neurons to be energized and to create like chains of superconductors within the material. It's not going to be electrolysis because I mean it's not really electrolysis. No, cannot be like I don't think that I mean it can count as electrolysis because there are not like poles that are kind of like I mean, because I mean the major issue of electrolysis, as far as I understand, like by definition, is that you need like the two poles, and that the poles are like I mean made metallic, and that are I mean, and that they create kind of like I mean chemical reaction. I mean then there is like both ionization and galvanization, and like and and the water like medium, I mean, or the liquid medium is separated, like the molecules are separated, and in this way, I'm not sure it's actually going to happen. But what's important is not that. I mean, all of this is kind of like a byproduct from like I mean, the way that I energy the neurons. What's important is that there will be like a circle that flows through the not. I mean, there won't. It's not going to be a short circuit. Like I mean, the circle will not flow. Like I mean, just by I mean through the metal of the container and the lid, but it will like I mean, but it will be this circle that will necessarily I mean contain the water as like I mean as a resist, like the mixture as as resistor, and of course the mixture contains I mean neurons that can use this electricity to create whatever I mean whatever they want. So actually, I tried this approach, and I mean, I don't remember how. I mean, I only tried it once, like, and I don't even remember like how I came to the conclusion that it actually works. I mean, maybe just because, just I mean, maybe just I mean by adding like a component to the DC circuit to see that I mean there is kind of like a flow because I mean, and I mean the fact that there was a flow, I mean, from my perspective, meant that it works. Like I mean that. I mean, because just maybe just add the any kind of like component like to this circle, and to verify that actually I mean like it's a hot circle. Like I mean, it's actually electricity. Like then there is a current because which means that I mean it flows through the mixture. Maybe that's the like the proof. So maybe I would want to do that. It's interesting, and for also for reasons. Another issue is like I mean the sandwich. Like I mean I didn't take the sandwich because we didn't see like I mean so. But now I've added like more stuff to as I said, like added like both oil and like a little bit of the Cola Zero to these containers, so it's not that dry. So maybe I'll take like more microscopic examples later today, and then I'll create like more fire because I do want to light it before I eat it because just I mean to make sure that I mean the biological scum is dead. And then see like I mean how like I mean take more microscopic examinations, and if I see like big neurons and or things that look like eggs, I mean I will certainly spread it on a sandwich and eat it. So yes, this is the agenda. I mean, for tonight, hopefully I'll do at least some of it, and if not tonight, then at least tomorrow. I'm not in a very good mood, as you understand, and I don't have much motivation. That's why I do not continue with the fairy tale, and I do not work very rigorously. But I try to do the best I can, and I take comfort as much as I can on the fact that the yellow jackets are most probably like I mean already laying eggs like all over the place, and so I mean it's out of my control in a good way. Like I mean, of course I would want like more of them to actually arrive here, and maybe if possible to sit like on the table quietly so I'll be able to inspect it. I don't want to kill them, but they are doing their thing now, and it's interesting of course to know what do they eat. Probably everything, but I'm not certain. Like, do they eat metal? Can they eat like I mean fuels? I mean, not that there aren't many like fuels in Israel. Like I mean, but I mean very quickly they will spread outside of Israel. So there's a question of like I mean can they eat like like I mean petroleum or uranium? I don't know, plutonium. I mean metal. Might be a problem for like I mean agricultural, like from agricultural perspective, but there is almost no agriculture in Israel. I mean they get all the food like from abroad, and it was always like that, so no need to fear much. So I mean this is the agenda, and upload use. I mean certainly will with microscopic examination, and maybe with more elaborate like I mean electricity or crucible experiments. We still don't have like a name for the yellow jacket, but maybe I'll think of something. yes, and so and another issue is that I want to create more crucibles. Actually, started working on it, and so I have prototypes of new crucibles because I like the crucible idea, but the one that I use is pretty big and complicated and with internal structure and the head and also, and it's important because we've seen amazing stuff with that, but I would like to use smaller ones for more specific purposes and not for very long-term usage. So maybe I will work on it as well because I've already started to work on it and it could be very distinct as well. So that's all for now. Of course, torture always continues. Smell attacks, sound attacks, always. I'm always under torture, and I need to be rescued using arms and legs, not using mouths and tongues. And there is no other way. I need to be rescued using arms and legs. Just to understand, the legal situation is that even though I'm almost a year under arrest for a ridiculous crime that I didn't even commit, but even if I would, it's unbelievable that I'm still under arrest. Of course, it's I'm a prisoner of war for their perspective, but from the judge point of view, from the court decision, I'm waiting to yet another social worker review. Many of you already understood that. Well, social workers is something that I appreciate very much, and I've actually 3 of them were actually came to this room very lately. One drowned in the water, and this is the one that you've seen the one that you've seen under the microscope. But the first one, but the second one was, they just flew outside, and the third one, was the biggest one that you've just recently seen. That she was very, very impressive, very big social worker, the largest yellow jacket. They are all social animals, and they are all workers, and they are social workers, and they are also metallic, as you know that many social workers in Israel are actually metals. So this includes the Shoam ones that are, of course, metals. And so, I think of myself not only as a subject for the review of the social workers, but also as kind of an important, I would say, factor in their ecosystem and the new ecosystem of social workers that we now construct in Israel, and the Middle East, and of course later all over the world. It will be a world of social workers, all very very social and very, I would say, robust and certainly durable. You've already seen how durable they are. So let's hope for this brave new world to materialize very soon.